everyone.
Hey! How is everybody? Darren here.
Brandon here.
And we are
The White Hatter.
We're the White Hatter.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey.
For those of you in the comments talking about my oofs,
It's already started.
I'm sorry. I will fix it for next time.
What was the issue?
What was the issue?
Yeah.
I just didn't get around to actually updating it when 2019 came around.
I know it said 2018, right?
I know.
You know what? That's pretty good, though. That's pretty good. So we got a good show going today, right?
Yeah, we have a bunch of things planned, and so it's fewer topics, but we have a lot to talk about in those topics.
Yeah, we sure do. We sure do.
I see a comment already coming in.
Oh.
What is your guys' favorite meme?
Oh, I'll leave that one for you.
My favorite meme. I think I'm a big fan of the deja vu memes.
How about surgery on a grape?
Are we done? That's a dead meme. We're done with that. That meme is done.
Fine,
All right, we're done with that.
Okay, we're done with that.
All right.
What's the new one?
What's Candace's favorite?
I don't know. She's your partner, not mine. I have no idea.
Candace loves anything relating to burbs.
Burb
memes.
Yeah, burb memes. Yeah.
Anyways, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
As always, before we begin, being YouTube, we love to have your input and answer questions live. So by all means, you can connect with us, ask us questions live here on the show, and we'll do our best to respond. If not, you can always message us directly afterwards, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, because this is about YouTube. It means it's about you. And in order for this to work, we need participation from you. So as we're going through this, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to send it our way. And our social media coordinator, Candace in the back, who's monitoring everything we're doing right now, will be able to feed it to us, and we'll get back to the questions. Yeah. So what's the first segment in today's show?
First segment, as usual, is the White Hatter Update.
Yes.
Where pretty much this is where we're going to discuss things that are new with us, things we've done, and things we want to share with all of you.
We've been busy over the past little while, both traveling and writing.
Yeah, we have. Actually, this is probably, you wrote this article
yes,
not that long ago, and it's actually pretty much one of the most popular articles we've ever written.
Yeah.
We've gotten the most hits on, and it's on vaping.
Yes, and it's become a big issue, right? Internationally, not just in Canada, but in the United States as well. Hearing a lot about this. And, I was hearing a lot of stuff about vaping and, a lot of anecdotal stuff. So I decided to do our research and went online and started reading some medical stuff and a lot of articles that were written by parents, but I didn't see a lot of articles that were from the teen perspective. Like, if this is all about teens, why shouldn't we be going to them, right, and getting their opinion on this issue? So that's what we did. Is we interviewed hundreds of teens on this issue. We did a survey, and like 600 or 700 applied.
Oh yeah, that's a lot.
And then I also interviewed just over 100 students, over 20 hours worth of one-on-one interviews on this whole issue surrounding vaping. And to say that I learned a lot would be an understatement. It was amazing how many teens and young adults, because we had everybody from middle school, high school, and even a couple of college students reach out to us to share with us their knowledge on the topic. And I think for me, the biggest takeaway is on the issue of NICs, right? Nicotine pods and how they're being used and some of the problems associated with the nicotine.
Right.
And how it's becoming very addictive and it's becoming somewhat problematic. But we wrote a whole article on it. It's getting great reviews. I mean, it's just unbelievable how it's getting these reviews. And they can find it on our website. And what's our website? Our blog. Our blog on our website.
It's thewhitehatter.ca /blog, but it's there on the front link, so you'll be able to see it.
Yeah, if you just go to the website, up in the upper right corner, you'll see a little tab there. It says blog. Click on it, and it's the first blog. It's the newest one we just wrote. So I would encourage everybody out there to have a read of it. And again, thank you to all the teens. I think we adults need to start listening more to them as a group, as a cohort, as you like to call it from an educational standpoint, because they have a lot to offer in this sphere. They really, really do. And I think the more that we get teens involved in topics like this and talking about it, the more we can make headway and find some successful solutions or creative solutions to some of the challenges that are being faced in today's digital world.
Completely agree.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, great read. Check it out if you're interested. It's not that long of a read, so it's pretty short and very concise.
Yeah, I mean, and again, thank you to all the students and young adults out there who participated in helping me to write this article. Thank you. What's the next one?
Next one, actually, we see some comments coming in already.
Oh,
Life at Potterhead, who actually won our giveaway
the last
last
one.
time.
Yeah, last one.
They say, I'm wearing my White Hatter swag.
Swag.
Yeah.
Swag. Yeah.
I'd like to hear it. There's another draw at the end for those of you who entered this month's draw. So we look forward to pulling some names out of the hat.
Hey, we got somebody from Saskatchewan.
Hey!
Pugs Forever plays from Gateway School in Saskatchewan. Hey,
I was there.
We were just there.
Yeah.
It was cold. We'll talk more about that, right?
We have. Oh, and someone from Kelsa. I was there
yes, that's right.
a couple weeks ago.
Shout out to Kelsa School. I was there with the secondary school. I did the
you did.
secondary
Yeah,
students.
I did the elementary.
You did the elementary and middle school students, right?
We did their
hey,
entire population. It
big
was
shout
great.
out. Yeah, it was really, really good. So
Thank you all for joining us.
yeah, for sure. What's the next one we got going here?
Next one, we've now been
yes.
involved in 188 interventions.
Yeah, where young people have reached out to us and or their parents as a result of issues surrounding self-harm and suicide. And over the past 2 weeks now, we've been involved in 3. The latest one involved one from another country, where a Canadian teen connected with us because they were connected with a friend in another country, in another continent.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, became very, very concerned about this other teen. They sent me some screenshots. I had a look at it, and they had the right to be concerned. We were immediately able to connect with colleagues in that country who we've met through what it is that we do. And there was an intervention, and then that young girl is now in hospital being dealt with, right? So kind of thing. But again, it just awesome to see how students are becoming these upstanders rather than bystanders and connecting with us. And this is the reason why we talk about how many interventions, because one of the things that we hear consistently from teens is the fact that when they come forward to say something, nobody does anything about it.
Yeah.
And what we want to do is we want to really push the fact that if they reach out to us, we will do something. If we can't, we know somebody who can. And so that's why we really talk about the numbers here. It's not to blow our own horn. It's to get kids to understand that, yes, when they connect with us, we will take action, whatever that action is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we just had another one 2 nights ago here in Canada as well. Again, same situation. Teen talking to another teen in social media. The other teen they were talking to having suicidal ideations, considering self-harm. We were able to get a hold of the police. Police conducted an intervention. We were able to get her to hospital, get her the care, and she's doing really well today. So again, once again, thank you to you team upstanders, you digital first responders out there who, when you see something, you're willing to say something about it and connect with us or others online to make sure that people who need help get the help that they need.
Indeed.
So, big tip of our white hat to all those upstanders, those 188 people now who have connected with us, and we've awarded the White Hatter Medallion to those students, and one parent, by the way, first parent we've had, were as a result of their child connecting with them. That parent then connected with us and took action, which was really cool when the parents get involved like that as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
So awesome. Again, big tip of our white hat to all the upstanders out there doing a really good job about looking after one another, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More from us. You and I spent last week up in Saskatchewan.
Where?
In Meadow Lake.
Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. Great road trip, right?
Beautiful, but cold.
Oh, it was like -30 when you were there, right? Like it was, and the week before they said it was in the like -50s or stuff.
Yeah, it was very cold. I mean, it was a great trip.
We had an
enjoyed
awesome
the
time.
schools; they were fantastic. In our last day there, we decided to do a little experiment with the cold. And many of you may have even seen this online, where people
warning! Don't try this at home.
Where you take basically a pot or a cup of really hot, potentially boiling water.
But we didn't use boiling water, right?
No, we used
just
like
really
coffee hot water.
Coffee hot water.
And you toss it in the air, and it basically turns into this snow
vapor,
fog type stuff.
It's kind of like turning a liquid into a solid into a vapor as well, right? Yeah, whatever. One of your teachers from your middle school days actually saw it and commented on the Facebook page. I always knew Brandon's favorite topic was science, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
So big shout out. Who was that teacher? It was Welsh, right?
Yeah, Welsh.
Yeah, big shout out to that teacher, right?
And we actually have a video. We took a video of me doing that.
Who was the videographer?
Yeah, it
that
was you.
me.
You were
God,
the
I
one
do a
holding the
good job.
phone,
I did a
and
good job.
we took a video,
Yeah,
and we posted it on our Facebook and Instagram page. But I'll show it here again.
It's kind of cool, huh? It's in slow motion.
Yeah.
Watch this, slow motion. Here we go. Look at this. Two cups of hot water. Whoosh! Look at how quickly that turned into like snow and mist and vapor because it was so cold there. It was unbelievable, right?
It was fun.
It was really fun. I mean, it was so cold there. Do you remember seeing the ice crystals in the air? Like when we walked from the car into the school, my face hurt.
Because of the wind chill. So it not only was it minus 35-ish, and then the wind was blowing in our faces.
Oh.
And then we only walked maybe like 2-3 minutes from our car to the school door, and my face was hurting.
You got to understand, we're from Victoria, right? Like it's like the California, Canada. Although for the past week we've had more snow here than we've had in a long time, right? But I mean, it was. Although it was cold, it was hot, and so like we had some hot. We gave our presentations were lit. They were lit, right? With respect to how it is that we did their presentation. Had a really good time in Meadow Lake. They showed us really good hospitality there. It was awesome, right? So big shout out to Meadow Lake, and we'll talk about a student there a little bit later in the presentation, something that we did for them, right? Which is kind of cool.
So that's new with us. Now we're going to talk a bit about kind of some news stories that came up this month that we want to quickly address.
Oh, in the news, right?
In the news segment. Every time.
I love that. I
So,
love doing that, for sure.
First article we want to talk about is this one right here. This article you brought up, and you want to quickly talk about.
E-gaming, esports, big thing. I mean, it's amazing how many presentations we go to, and you hear teens telling us, mom and dad say to me, "Don't play video games; it's going to rot your brain." Right? Well, what they don't understand is that esports has become a big business. In fact, in the United States, there are now over 200 universities, 200, that offer some form of e-gaming scholarship, right? Or just like you have a basketball team, you have a football scholarship. Well, you can now get e-gaming scholarships to pay for your education. University of British Columbia here in BC, in Canada, said that they're going to be coming out with one. I mean, there's several universities now that are offering 4-year degree programs on how to design and implement e-gaming. It has become big business right now. So when I hear parents looking at their kids saying, "Don't play video games, it's going to rot your brain," well, maybe not. Maybe it's going to pay for my education and make me very wealthy. But again, it's all about balance, right?
Yeah, it's about balance, because I mean, those professional esports players, I mean, it's not like what you said, like being a couch potato.
No.
Because these professional players need to be in top physical condition, both mentally and physically, to do what it is they do.
For sure. I mean, a really good example. How about this next slide? Let's flash up this next slide. Here's a young Canadian. She started gaming when she was 17. She's now in her early 20s. She's already made over $300,000 in gaming, right? Wow. Like she's made a career of this, and this is becoming big. They actually estimate that e-gaming will rival the NFL when it comes to money-making ventures. But again, it's all about finding a balance, right? Because there is something that's called gaming disorder. So one of the things that we say to students and to parents is that if your child games, or if you're a teen that games, good on you, we game. I mean, I've been involved in gaming a little bit more since December. I'm not going to say any more, thanks to you. But anyways, but if you're involved in gaming to the point where it's now affecting you in a negative way, emotionally, psychologically, physically, and socially, it's not good for you, right? So it's all about finding a balance. But to show you how rare gaming disorder is, the current academic peer-reviewed research shows that only about 0.5% of the population will ever be diagnosed with gaming disorder. So it's rare, but it's an issue that we need to be aware of, right? I mean, some gaming issues, if you can interfere with sleep and learning and that kind of stuff. But so it's all about balance, right?
Yeah, it's not anything can potentially become an issue if it is not regulated and not paying attention.
Yeah.
So it's. And the fact that gaming gets all this bad news in regards to gaming is this terrible thing.
I mean, a good example of that is, the school shootings in the United States. There are a lot of people blaming gaming over the school shootings. But again, that has been that myth has been blown out of the water from a lot of really good academic peer-reviewed research now showing that no, that's not in fact true, right? So it's something new to my generation, right? On as you like to call the old guy, right? And to a lot of parents, this doesn't make a lot of sense. But in today's world of digital Generation Z and millennials like you and that kind of stuff, it's a part of who you are now. But again, it's all about finding balance.
Yeah, finding the desirable use of your technology.
Yeah, for sure. What else we got going?
Speaking of undesirable use of technology,
yes,
this news story that kind of swept across Canada.
And this one really emphasizes the fact that everything we do online, everything is public, permanent, searchable, exploitable, copyable, shareable, and for sale. It really does.
Yeah.
And what's that article, Brandon?
It's this one that many of you may have seen. You may have even seen the video.
Wow.
This is a video of an individual.
19-year-old female.
19-year-old female here in Canada.
In Toronto.
And this was a video taken of her tossing a patio chair, tossing it over the balcony of this high-rise in Toronto.
A condo. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like she threw this heavy patio chair off the balcony of a high-rise condo in the downtown of Toronto onto the parkway. Thank God it didn't hit anybody or any vehicles. Because if it did, if it would have hit, it probably would have killed him, seriously injured him, probably would have caused a major accident if it hit a vehicle, right? And because of that video that was posted, so her and her friends posted this video, and guess what? The Popo got involved. The Toronto Police Department got involved, investigated.
Yep.
They've now arrested her. She's just been released on surety on bail to appear in court on several charges, right? And this is one of those things that I just look at this and go, are you kidding me? Like, how can anybody think that this is funny? But here's a good example where a young person thought it was funny to do something really stupid. Because there is no other word for it. It was stupid. It was dangerous. It was criminal.
Yep.
And what it is that they did, right? And now she's going to have to face a judge to answer to those charges. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a case that I'm going to follow quite closely to talk more about. And when we posted this on our Facebook page, we had several parents saying, you know what, she's probably going to get a book deal out of this, right? Because like it or not, there are some people who've done some really stupid things on the internet, criminal in nature, or just absolutely low-class stuff. And as a result of that, they become famous. I mean, a good example is Paul Logan or Logan Paul.
Logan Paul did, yeah.
Like what happened on that one?
I mean, there's tons of so-called famous YouTubers that have done things that are controversial. I mean, even PewDiePie does controversial things because he's so famous. He gets even more famous because his name gets put in the media. So you do see this cyclone of negative press.
Good word, cyclone.
Yeah, thank
good
you.
Word. Yeah,
making people more popular because of just the negativity that's being talked about. So, but these individuals are rare. I mean, there's only a couple individuals who routinely get in trouble with the media and become famous. So
and because she's 19, she's now an adult. Because in Canada, 19, you're now an adult. So her name is being published. Right? So now you got to think about if this young girl is ever going to be applying for a job or doing something like that, people are going to Google her name. And that's the first thing that's going to pop up, right? It's going to be there forever. And how's that potentially going to affect her down the road, right? I mean, like we say, whenever you post anything online, there's always consequences to actions being positive or negative. And this is why understanding that everything we do online is public, permanent, searchable, exploitable, copyable, and shareable, and for sale is so important. Because I bet you she never ever thought that this video would go as viral as it had and would have affected her in this way where she's now facing criminal charges. Maybe she did. I don't know. But
we'll find out in the court proceedings in terms of what happened.
We're going to follow that one. We're going to keep you guys updated on what happens in that case whenever it comes to its fruition. So
so that's a couple stories. But before we go on with more stories, by all means,
how do they connect with us?
Leave a comment below, ask us a question. Let's hear your input on what we talked about. We love to engage and we love to respond. And you can also message us directly after the show if you so desire. If there's something really important you want to talk about, we're here to answer.
Hey, I see a couple of students are getting back to us saying that some of them who've received swag, because we throw out swag in all our presentations, are wearing their swag and that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool. So thank you very much, for supporting us and being here. And don't forget, if you have some questions, don't be afraid to ask us some of those questions. So what else have we got going on?
Next news story. This one was released earlier this month in regards to stories about the Russian legal system, laws coming into effect that are basically dictating that social media companies, any company that has personal information in regards to a Russian citizen, must keep that digital information on the computers or servers within the borders of Russia.
So why do you think they're doing that?
There could be various reasons. In terms of what the actual reason is, it's hard to say, but generally most experts are saying this is in regards to control.
I would agree, for sure.
We've seen these kind of news stories kind of popping up throughout the last couple years or so because social media is such a huge phenomena, and it kind of transcends various legal boundaries.
Good word, transcend. You got some good ones today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're seeing various governments and countries sort of trying to control and limit the span and freedom of the internet. For various reasons, some good reasons, some not so good reasons.
I think this is not such a good reason.
This is most likely a not so good reason.
I think what he's probably doing here is he's trying to insulate his country from free speech getting into his country that could potentially affect him and the oligarchy in his country, and that's what I think he's doing. I might be wrong, but if you look at what's happened with the United States, how another country, maybe this one, had an effect on using social media to affect an election, I'm sure they're very concerned that what happens to you can come back and happen to others, including yourself, right?
Yep.
Karma can be kind of ugly, and so maybe that's one of the things they're fearful of, and that's why they want to do it.
And I mean, we're definitely for certain regulations in
sure.
regards to kind of controlling some of the issues that the internet can present itself. I mean, we've seen the issues in regards to the EU and their legislations trying to control copyright online, which is a huge controversy. I mean, basically the CEO of YouTube said if the EU and Britain go through with these proposals in regards to kind of more controlling copyright, we couldn't even show you this picture in regards to this news story, which has huge ramifications for sharing information on the internet.
And that's what the internet was all designed for, right? To share information.
So if that were to happen, the YouTube CEO said basically they would segregate YouTube from the EU, so if you were in the EU, you wouldn't be able to access the content from other countries. Which, I mean, there's ways around that, of VPNs and all that sorts of things. But I mean, just from the general public, that's a bit of concerning.
Yeah, for sure. And we got another thing here from Russia too, right?
Yes. So
hold on, I think he's taking a call from Donald Trump in that picture.
Oh boy. Geez, oh man.
Anyways, I know.
So
U.S. politics.
So following that previous article, this article was released talking about Russia's intentions of doing a test.
What's the test?
They are potentially planning on testing to unplug from the internet.
How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that?
Well, think about it. If in the previous article, where we were talking about if all Russian data must be contained inside of Russia, if Russia were to basically unplug from the internet, they shouldn't see any interruptions with Russia-only specific infrastructures.
What do you do about internet access via satellite?
Well, I don't know about that.
I know!
But basically, they're talking about unplugging from the deep cables underneath the water that reached Russia. Oh. So I mean, this will be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, it will be.
Because it'll be interesting to see just how much of Russia will remain active online.
I also think that there's bigger reasons for this. They're probably doing it to protect their military infrastructure, right? Because there's no doubt that they're probably susceptible to things going on by certain other national countries that could affect them if all of a sudden bad things start to happen, right? So
it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, by the way, you like my pink tie? You like that? like that pink tie? It's to celebrate. It's Pink Shirt Day. It's Anti-Bullying Month this week.
Yes, it is.
We're actually going to be in Nelson, British Columbia.
Yeah, we will.
We're doing a bunch of presentations up there that week, so I thought I'd kind of celebrate by using my pink tie. What do you guys think? Do you guys like this tie? I kind of like it. Hey, there's a comment here from Citrine Animations. Has anyone here watched the Lego Movie 27? It was amazing. Haven't watched it yet, but we want to. And for those of you who don't know Citrine's animations, they need to go to his YouTube channel to see what he's doing with Lego animations.
Oh yeah,
like just unbelievable. And
we actually showed one of his videos in the previous show.
We did
actually. Yeah.
We did. And he's also doing some work for us right now, kind of designing something. I'm not going to kind of tip our hand yet, but he's kind of doing something for us. So we're really looking forward to it. So big shout out to Citrine out there right now, animations and what he's doing for us. So what's the next thing we got there, Brian?
Next article, this news story kind of made its way around the internet.
Yeah, this one, I got a couple of messages from parents on my Facebook feed saying, hey, Darren, what's up with this? You know, is there any truth to it? And no, there isn't any truth to it. It's actually a hoax. It started about 2015. It was known as the 72-hour challenge. It came out of England, actually, where a young person said they went missing purposely for 72 hours before they turned themselves in, which launched into a missing person. Police got involved. Anyways, to make a long story short, it was proven not to be what everybody thought it was. In about 2016, 2017, it morphed into the 48-hour challenge, and it's now reappeared again. And again, it's a hoax, right? If you do your investigation online and you dig a little further and you look to people who are credible, this is nothing more than a hoax, right? It's being spread. And with that, we're now getting police departments like the article that you just showed that are doing these public announcements warning parents about this horrible 48 challenge where our kids are running away by droves for 48 hours, and the longer they stay away, the more points they win and that kind of stuff. And it's creating a moral panic, as I like to call it, and it's nothing more than fake, right? It's a hoax.
Now, will we see some very
copycats?
Yeah, we'll see or very segregated instances.
Yes, good word, segregated. You're using a bunch of them today.
I don't know where they're coming from.
That education that's paid for, right? Like,
yeah, we might see one or two stories, but just because one person said they attribute this behavior because of this challenge, just because one person says that does not mean every single person's going to go do that. Very, very unlikely.
I was happy to see a number of parents connecting with me, asking me, is this true? Because again, it's starting to, we really push this issue of being critical thinkers online and really asking yourselves, is what I'm reading true? And looking for multiple sources to confirm that what you're reading is true, right? And that's a part of digital literacy. And not only do the kids need to be doing this, but also the parents as well, right? So should we be talking to our kids about this? Sure, because as a parent, what I would be saying is, hey, just to let you know, this is more in a hoax than anything else. And that, if you do that, it creates a huge strain on policing resources. I can talk about that firsthand from my experience in policing. But again, I think it's really important to know that this 48 challenge, no, it's not what it is that people are making out to be. And therein lies one of the problems of the internet, where these fake type of news stories and articles can really catch fire, right?
People are trying to make their own challenge. People want to be attributed to creating a certain challenge. And if you go online, look at any, Instagram, Facebook, or even TikTok, I mean, just go look, and people are constantly trying to go, try this challenge, or this challenge, or this challenge. And most often, they don't take off.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
one or two, but I mean, they're not popular.
I mean, it's kind of like the Blue Whale Challenge and the Momo Challenge that was flying around for a while there about, kids getting involved in these groups of suicide where they had these people that were coaching them to do it. And again, the research showed us and the investigation showed that it was, no, that's not. So again, I'm really happy that parents and students are now starting to think a little bit more critically about what they're reading online and really asking themselves, is what I'm reading true? And if they don't know, then they're connecting with people like me and others to kind of dig a little deeper. So I hope that helps a lot of you out there. Yeah. So what's the next one we got?
Next article is a Facebook-related article.
Oh, I love Facebook.
Facebook's always in the news.
Yeah, it is. But, I love Facebook for all its issues. I mean, I use it a lot. I understand its strengths, its weaknesses, and its challenges. But what's this one all about?
This one is in regard to Facebook trying to collect information on its users. Big surprise. Big surprise.
Go figure.
So this particular concern was Facebook had developed a internal VPN.
Oh, what's a VPN? For those people who don't know, what's a VPN?
It's a virtual private network.
What does that mean?
Essentially, VPNs are mostly used for privacy and security. So essentially, all your data from your device is you funnel it through a VPN. And by doing that, that funnel, that tube is secure, encrypted, so anyone from the outside, like potential governments, corporations,
Hackers.
or black hat hackers, you name it, won't necessarily be able to see the data that you are sending from your device.
Yeah, basically encrypts it, scrambles it so it can't be read.
Basically.
Yeah, the basic way.
So in transit, that data is secure.
So what did Facebook do with their VPN?
So what they did with their VPN is they created a VPN to collect information. So if a VPN is designed to collect all your data from your device and funnel it through one source, if Facebook creates its own VPN, that means all the data is being, not only Facebook data, but all messaging, all that stuff would be sent through this VPN.
So therefore they have access.
So they created the VPN to kind of monitor people's behaviors, information. They're doing their own research on, users' interests and that kind of stuff.
Did they disclose that? Did they disclose that that's what they were going to do with the VPN?
Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
it's in the terms, in terms of, it was marketing. So basically, people, even young teens, would sign up for this, and
they were getting paid.
And they would get paid.
Yeah.
They would get paid for this.
Yeah. But really, whoever reads the terms of service.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, right?
So, so this is a big concern, big privacy concern.
Yep.
And actually, Apple.
Careful.
What Apple did was they actually, because what this app was doing, this VPN app, was against Apple's terms of service because of the privacy issues, Apple actually disabled and removed the Facebook VPN research app from their service.
Right. It's kind of cool to watch the big companies, right, kind of go like this with one another every so often.
Yeah.
That's not such a bad thing, right? Because
No.
it keeps things in check and and stuff. But for sure, Apple, good on them. But I love my Apple. I love Apple devices. Everything I own is Apple. Like my iPhone XS Max, it's more than a phone. It's an iPhone.
I'm not going to
It's
say,
my
yes, certainly we have Apple infrastructure
Yes,
here, but I'm not going to say Apple is perfect.
No, it's not.
Because it comes into
You're
our
about to hurt
next
me.
news
You're
story.
about to hurt me. Okay, hit it.
This one here. And this is an article in regards to a security vulnerability potentially in Apple. So this is not the first. We've seen tons of different issues with security and viruses for Mac. So again, for those of you Mac owners, please, if you have a Mac, please enable and download a relevant antivirus program to ensure your device is secure. Now, what's in regards to this particular article is that one security researcher, what they had figured out is they claim to have found a flaw in the Apple keychain.
Right.
And the Apple keychain is basically, it's like a password manager.
It is, yeah.
So basically, you can put your passwords in your Apple keychain so you don't need to remember your passwords. It's a really great little tool, but because it's software can sometimes have
Vulnerabilities.
issues. Exactly.
Yeah.
So this researcher said that they know this issue, but in this particular story, they did not want to disclose what the issue was until Apple gets their bug bounty program more relevant.
What's a bug bounty program?
Thank you for asking me.
You're very welcome.
A bug bounty program, like almost every major big company has a program like this. Well, essentially, you have a proposal out. Well, basically, you say to any security researchers, white hat hackers, essentially, if you can find an issue with our product or our service, we will pay you money for depending on the issue and the size of the issue you found, which is great. It's great. It's great for competition.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of smart people to help you.
Even teens are getting involved in this.
We've seen teens even, who have taken all these challenges, found issues in big platforms, even like Facebook.
Yeah.
And Facebook will pay the person who found the issue as long as they disclose the issue to Facebook first.
I mean, a good example was the FaceTime issue with Apple a couple weeks ago. It was a teen who found it.
Yeah.
And he got a bounty. They're not disclosing how much he made, right? I bet you he made a pretty good little chunk of change, right?
Bigger the issue, bigger the payout.
For sure.
So, like Apple has programs for their smartphones, their iOS devices. But apparently, this researcher had an issue because Apple's program, bug bounty program for the Mac OS, so like things like this right here, my computer. Apparently, the program didn't necessarily pay as much, or not really as refined as the iOS
Yeah.
program.
So these bounty programs are basically, they've gamified it, right? I mean, you wrote an article on gamification. What's basically gamification for
Well,
parents?
gamification is basically, you get a reward for doing a certain type of behavior.
Yeah.
And bigger the reward equals more behavior. It's different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
There's tons of different research models, but basically you're getting points or rewards or financial gain by doing something, and it's incentivizing, right?
Yeah, and this is another reason why it's so important. It doesn't matter if you're an Apple or an Android, whatever, that you're continually updating your software, right?
Yeah.
It's, why? Because the software helps to patch the holes, such as this, that hackers can use to get into our devices, into our private information. So that's why it's really, really, really important that we're updating our software whenever we can. Like, we met a grade 7 boy not too long ago, had an iPhone 7, he hadn't plugged it in for over a year. Like, that's just, you can't be doing that, right?
No.
You need to be updating it as much as you can. So, yeah. What else? What's the next thing we got here in the news?
Next news story is this one here. You actually brought to our attention.
Yeah, I hate you for this. I'll be honest, right? Because of your education now, you've kind of got me into this research thing. Like, I love it, right? I love looking at the peer-reviewed academic research out there, and just all because of you, right? But
You're
it's
welcome.
important. It's important as a company that we're looking to this. And one of the problems with social media and technology in the digital world is that it's relatively new. So we haven't had a lot of what we call longitudinal research. Now, what's longitudinal research?
Essentially, that's research that looks at someone over a long period of time, and looking at the differences over those periods of time. So basically, looking at someone who might be 15, and following them until they're older, like maybe even 20.
Yeah.
And seeing if what you're researching makes an impact on that person.
Yeah, so we haven't had a lot of longitudinal type of research, right? But we're starting to get it now, and one of the things that we're continually fighting is what we call juvenoia, and juvenoia is a parent's fear of what our kids are doing within their realm, and it's been around forever, right? Like in the 40s, it was comic books. In the 50s, it was Elvis Presley and the Beatles, and in the 60s, it was TV, and today it's cell phones, right? And a lot of this creates what we call a moral panic and a fear that is really not based in evidence. Well, we're now starting to get some really good research, and this is a really good piece of research out of the United States, out of Oxford right now. I was over in Great Britain. I just want to read the last sentence where it says, along the lines, maybe you can read that for me, Brendan. The last sentence.
Thus, while it is often assumed that social media use may lead to depressive symptoms, our results indicate that this assumption may be unwarranted.
And this is important because how many articles have you read online by people who are saying that social media is causing all these emotional, psychological, physical, and social challenges, but there was no evidence to support it out there, right? Like, a lot of people were saying this. Well, here's some really good research coming out of some very reputable universities that is showing us that maybe the social media isn't having that much of an effect as what we saw, right? Like, we're still light on research, good research, right? We're getting there, but what we're starting to see now is we're starting to see a swing in the pendulum over to the fact that when social media is used in a proper, balanced, managed way, it can be extremely beneficial, right? And so this is why research like this is so important, but it's expensive for them to do, right?
It's expensive, it's hard to do, and it's hard to control in certain environments. So that's why research has a problem with trying to keep up to speed with this type of stuff. And are there a few case study instances where problematic behaviors can occur because of doing something online? Sure. Humans are unique. There's so many of us, and we're all different. And some people act differently and respond differently, or have certain predispositions to certain behaviors. There's all these different variables that are really hard to pinpoint or say that everyone in the world suffers from these particular issues.
Or what people will do is they'll read research and they only take little bits and bites out of it to support their argument, right? Which is also, which brings up the next article I want to show, right? This next article is some research that was done here in Canada, where they said that they found an association between screen time and children's performance on a developmental screening test. And this was some research done out of Alberta, at a university in Alberta. And the researchers there, this really caught the headlines across Canada, United States about, look, here it is. Here's the proof to show that screen time can have a real negative effect on people. But when you look at the research, it's not what it said, right? When you look at the screen time they were looking at, it was more TV time than it was actual computer time. And you know what the research is panning, and a lot of very, very, very reputable psychologists, psychiatrists, researchers, cyber psychologists, they all went public to say, hey, listen, you know what? The media is taking this research and they're skewing it out of context. Like they really
misread it.
They did. And so that's the other thing, is that we got to be careful of on this issue. So again, what the research is showing us, it's all about balance. It's not how much time the kids are spending online, it's what they're doing with the time. So in other words, if all your child is doing online is consuming social media all the time, then that's like bubble gum for the brain. But if they're being producers and creators and developers, that's what stimulates brain growth, really. So really, it's not how much time are they spending online, it's what they're doing with that time that is more important, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the important thing here, especially research and media, likes to focus on children.
Yeah.
It's always about the children. It's always save the children, right?
Which is important.
And certainly, but it's not looking at the whole scheme of things, of looking at, misbehavior or unhealthy behaviors online can occur with anyone at any age.
And again, we constantly say this. It's about balance, right? Finding a balance, right? Between, we don't really like to call it the online and offline world anymore, because to teens today, it's one world. It's what a sociologist in Great Britain calls on-life, O-N-L-I-F-E, which I kind of like, right? It's this homogenized, synergized life. It's about finding a balance, right? Which is really, really, really important.
Yeah.
And again, the question that I think parents should be asking themselves is not how much time the kids are spending online, but what are they doing with that time? Are they being just consuming social media, which is bubblegum for the brain, right? And there's times to have bubblegum for the brain for an hour just to de-stress, right? Like, you know that better than anybody, right? But, if they're using most of their times to develop, produce, be these creators, that's what sparks developmental brain and really cool issues such as that. So, yeah. What else we got going?
Next article was actually brought to us by Julia, one of our white hatters.
Yeah, hey Julia, big shout out to Julia.
And basically, here in Canada, the Privacy Commissioner has released some reports guiding businesses and organizations on how to properly ask for consent for collecting personal information, and proper guidelines, what's inappropriate data collection, what's appropriate data collection. So anyway, I don't want to go into this because it gets very all legalese and all that type of stuff, but basically, here in BC, where we live and where our office is located, we have the BC Privacy Commissioner.
Yeah.
And they have a very comprehensive BC privacy guide.
Probably one of the most comprehensive in Canada, right?
Oh yeah. So we're seeing the Canadian Privacy Commissioner modeling their reports and their guidelines off of what we do here in BC, which is great. So we are seeing more, talking earlier about government regulation in terms of companies and what they can do with information. So look, this is positive. This is positive regulation.
And I do think that government has a role to play on that issue, because these major corporate data companies are collecting a lot of our personal information. They're monetizing it, right? And so I think there is a huge role for government to ensure that they protect our private information, right? And this is a really good example. And Julia, much like us, we're privacy hawks, but she's the mother of a privacy hawk. Like, she's actually working on her PhD on the issue of Canadian privacy online, right? So, we're doing some really cool things here in this province for sure under the Privacy Commissioner, and a lot of challenges, but that office is taking those challenges head on and really pushing forward to help protect us. Right, for sure.
As always, please connect with us. Leave a comment below on anything that we've been talking about. Like the video as well. We love to hear your comments and engage with you online.
Hit that subscribe button, right?
Yes, please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I'm pretty sure most of you are, which is great, but please, it helps us a lot and helps us grow the channel.
We do this once a month, and it's a great opportunity for once a month for especially parents out there to sit down with your younger kids, to listen, or teens, to listen to Brandon and I talk about some of these topics and kind of banter back and forth, which we love to do.
Yes.
And then at the end of the video, sit back and have a further discussion. It helps to spark family discussion on this issue, because the research shows us that families that discuss and interact with one another in these topic areas, then those kids are far less likely to get involved in less than desirable behavior online.
Yeah.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
Next segment is our breach watch, where we talk about data breaches or public information.
Let me guess, do we have another one?
Well, kind of.
Kind of?
This one right here.
Ooh.
So
What's this one all about?
this made headlines throughout the month.
Yeah.
It was codenamed Collection 1.
Ooh, that's
I know, right? Great name, great name. So essentially, there's a huge controversy and frenzy online about this document that was being spread along darknet and all that kind of stuff that contained, over 2.2 billion records of people's names, emails, passwords, that kind of stuff. Now, what was interesting about this particular story was it wasn't necessarily these were new data breaches. So what this Collection 1, great name, and following Collection 2 and 3, great names. What they basically were was a collection of all other previous data. So it wasn't anything new. What these individuals did is they took all the breached records from all those other companies, Dropbox, LinkedIn, all these other big data breached companies, and they put it all into one document to download. So the concern is there's no real new concern. The concern is now it's all in one place.
And it's easy to collect for phishing attacks.
Phishing attacks.
What's a phishing attack, just for those people who are watching us?
Phishing attack is an individual.
We're not talking like for salmon and trout and that kind of stuff, right?
No. It's spelled with a PH.
Yeah, with a PH.
Where essentially it was an individual who is masquerading as something else. They're pretending to be something they're not.
Right.
And they're trying to collect information from you, usually a username and password or credit card numbers, where they're trying to convince they're legitimate. They're someone from authority even. And they are convincing you to send them information. And you believe them for whatever reason, and you give them the information, and then they have it.
And so having this kind of information allows me as a potential phisher or social engineer to create a pretext to get you to believe more that what I'm sending you is in fact true.
Yeah. So if I know you're...
It's the bait.
Exactly. It's the tool you will use to convince someone you are who you say you are.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So, definitely concerning. Not as concerning as people think it is, but it's certainly something interesting to think about in terms of this information is now public and now potentially can be used for nefarious reasons.
But again, it goes to prove that nothing is ever 100% effective, right?
True.
I mean, there's always risks associated with anything we do in life, including on data, right? The weakest link is always the human link, and the information like this is going to get out. That's why people like the BC Privacy Commissioner are so important for us, right? To help us negate or at least minimize these types of issues so that if our data gets out there, it's not going to be as much as it would have been if it wasn't, right?
Yeah,
that's for sure. So what else we got going?
Our next segment, which
this is a good segment. I love this one.
Latest tech projects.
I love talking about this one, right? About especially what teens and adults, but especially teens are doing.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, we love to highlight whatever all of you are doing. If you have a cool project you want to show us and have us talk about, by all means, you can send us a link, send us an email to what you're doing, and we would love to broadcast and showcase some of the cool things that our followers, and even people who are not our followers, what they're doing online in a positive way using technology.
And we kind of seeded this one that we're about to talk about a little earlier when we talked about Meadow Lake. Right?
Yeah, so not necessarily tech, but tech is certainly involved in the result of this.
Yes, huge.
So in Meadow Lake, you're presenting at the high school.
I was, yeah.
And we were setting up, getting our stuff all together, and there was a student who, in the back, this was in like an auditorium.
Yeah, it was in an auditorium.
And there's music equipment all around. And this one student started playing piano.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Like all of a sudden I hear this piano playing, this like classical piano. I'm thinking, well, where's that come from? And I turn around and I see this young man playing on this grand piano in this auditorium. So I go up and start talking to him, and I learn that he's self-taught. He doesn't know how to read music, has never, ever, ever taken any kind of piano lesson. This is all self-taught. And this is a grade 11 student. His first name is Trenton. And with his permission, because I always ask permission, right? Consent, always get consent. I asked him if I could grab a video of him and put it on my Facebook page to have others have a look and see what's going on. So how about if we play that video?
Remember, self-taught, no training.
So, no training, none. Unbelievable. How cool is that?
Fantastic.
Like, unbelievable. All done by sound, right?
Yeah.
Like, never, no formal reading, never, doesn't know how to read a note of music, nothing. And so I started talking to him. I said, so like, do you have a piano at home that you practice at? And he goes, no. He says, I came to school and I saw this grand piano. I just sat down beside it and I started, and I taught myself over a couple of years. I said, unbelievable. So we as a company came up with this great idea. We said, here's a really good example how we've got a teen who's excelling in something and, he has to come to school to do it. So we thought, well, why don't we put out a Facebook saying, hey, are there any of our followers out there that would be willing to donate a piano to Trenton? And within minutes, we were getting these responses back from all our white hat followers going, yeah. And we got one from this person who wants to remain anonymous in British Columbia who said, yeah, I want to donate. So guess what? They've donated a piano and we're shipping it to Meadow Lake. And Meadow Lake and the person who's donating the piano says, the only thing I can't do is I can't pay for shipping. So Meadow Lake put out on their Facebook page, hey, listen, we got this piano, we can ship it. It's going to cost us like $200 to get it here. Can anybody help us with the shipping? Guess what? Their Facebook followers came through and in droves, and they've now been able to raise the money to get this thing shipped to Trenton so that he now has a piano at home. I mean, how cool is that?
It's fantastic.
I mean, it's low tech, but really it was high tech. It was social media that allowed us to get this young man this piano so that he can continue on with his studies and doing what he does, because this is what makes him happy. It was unbelievable to see the outpouring from our followers on our social media to support this young man. And you know what? Huge tip of our white hat from the White Hatter team to all our followers who came through, and especially the donor in Vancouver. Thank you so much. You do not know. In fact, Trenton is speechless as a result of this. A couple of his friends sent us messages on Facebook because it got out there. We wanted to keep it a secret, but guess what? We just knew this was going to happen once we put it on social media. But speechless, absolutely speechless. And this is the power of social media, right? This is what crowdsourcing and social media can do to help others, right? Which is really cool. I mean, just unbelielievable.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's a fantastic story.
It is.
It highlights the power of social media, how we can come together as a community and help someone who really has a significant talent.
Yeah, and being like gratitude and just this person who's donated this out of the goodness of their heart. It's like unbelievable. And people say this all the time, but we have some of the best followers out there. We really do as a White Hatter team, and we really want to thank all our followers for the support they give us and others like Trenton. Like, just unbelievable. Thank you very much. And Trenton, if you're watching, dude, I want you, when you get this thing, I want you to get it set up at home. I want you to shoot a video, and I want you to send it to us, right, so that we can play it here on the show, right? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what else we got going?
Next thing, so we've been talking as a team, figuring out, we love producing, we love doing the live show.
Yeah, we do.
This is one of our passions. We really enjoy, sharing information with all of you. And the thing is, it's only on YouTube.
Yeah.
So we've been talking is how do we do a more specific show for various different types of people, and we were talking about what about for parents, and other caregivers, about doing a show only for them. I'm sure everyone's invited to come watch.
Yeah, for sure.
But content specifically for different adults.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is,
and the reason we've done this is, we find that depending on the social media we're using, it has different followers, right? Like we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on a variety of different things, right? And each social media attracts a certain type of follower. And we find that Facebook, that's where a lot of our parents follow us, is on Facebook.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, what have we decided to do?
We are going to do a separate live show that's only for parents and caregivers. And the next one, we're gonna test it out. And we're going to see if we get any interest.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on Facebook only, so you'll need a Facebook account. And we're going to do it on March 17th, which will be after our YouTube live show, our general live show. So we're still doing this show. I mean, we're still doing it because we love doing it.
This show's not going anywhere, right?
But we're going to do a separate one that's going to be probably about half an hour in length. So not as long as this show, but about half an hour. And we're going to talk specifically about parent-centric
issues. Yeah, issues and stuff. And we, Candace, our social media coordinator, she actually put out a survey to ask everybody on Facebook, and with overwhelming feedback from especially the parents was that they would love to have a very parent-centric show on Facebook, because that's where they are. So we've decided to do that, and we're really looking forward to it. And again, this channel is not going anywhere. We're going to be doing this. This is more of a global, where we can talk to everybody, right? Teens, adults, everybody and anybody about a whole variety of different topics. But we're going to make the show on Facebook very parent-centric, on parent issues that we're consistently hearing at a lot of the parents' presentations that we go to. And we'll talk about it there at that show. So for those of you who follow us on Facebook, don't forget to turn in on March 17th at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. That's on the West Coast. And we're really looking forward to that first Facebook Live event. Yeah. So now what do we got going?
Well, looks like we have 5 minutes left in the show. Which means that brings us to giveaway draw time. Everyone's favorite segment.
So show me that. I love this. Special effects again. Show me the special effects. Here we go. Woo! Yes, giveaway time. So before we do that, what was the question we asked this time on the giveaway?
The question was, what was your favorite app? What was your favorite app? Not the most used app, because we asked that before. We asked people, what was your most used app? This time is, what was your most favorite app you use?
Oh, before we go, big shout out to Dayton Hansen. Brandon, he came to my school. Right on. Big shout out. Yeah. So we did that. So what happened on our question?
We got tons of responses.
We did.
So in the last two shows, we had a very significant low response rate on Facebook.
Yeah, we did.
But this time, we have about over 20 responses on Facebook, which is fantastic. And on Instagram alone, there's a lot. There's about 80-ish. Candace, our social media coordinator, printed them all out and cut them up in little tiny hats. So again, she had to cut them up 80 times.
There's got to be a technical fix.
There is.
Can't we just put it in and push a button and randomly picks one, or what?
But there's something special about pulling a name out of a hat on a piece of paper and reading it live. See, she just told me in my ear, she does it with love. She loves what she does, and she loves being our social media.
Yeah, no, that's true. She does. It's kind of things that she loves to do. Hey, she's also taking an open source intelligence course right now too, isn't she?
Yes, she is. She's expanding her expertise, and we'll be seeing more of her probably in the work that we do here in the future.
Doing online investigations and that kind of. She kind of like becoming a Carmen Sandiego, right? Kind of thing. So it's kind of cool. But what we're going to be doing with this draw now is we're going to change things up. From here on in, when we're doing the YouTube, we're only going to be doing it from our Instagrams, right, and stuff. And then when we do our Facebook parents presentations, our live event on Facebook, we're going to be doing a draw from the hat specifically from Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, this is all, we're figuring it out as we go. So again, it's not all set in stone, but essentially we're going to play around and we're going to see what works, what doesn't work. So suggestions are always welcome. If you have any ideas on how we can improve the show or ideas for our parent-only Facebook show, by all means, put it in the comments below, and we'll read it and we'll take suggestions. And because again, we love trying to improve.
So which one we're going to draw first?
Facebook first, as usual.
Okay, so I'll do the draw. I'll do the draw. Ready?
And here we go. Here we go.
Who is it?
Susan Faye.
Susan Faye.
And her response from the Facebook poll.
Let me guess. Hold on. Facebook.
Facebook.
Whoa! There you go. Ready to go.
So we'll contact you directly after the show for information and how to get the swag to you.
Yeah, for sure.
So please check your direct messages for that.
Congratulations, Faye.
All right.
So next one.
Next one is Instagram.
Instagram.
And I will say there's
a.
Got it.
Got it. Good.
Don't worry, you're in there. You're in there. All right.
So do the quick mix up. Do a mix up here.
So
and get ready for the drum roll. Ready? Here we go.
All right. Here we go. And Charlie659 and for the Instagram question, their response to their most favorite app
is, let me guess, Instagram! Woo!
So again, Charlie, we will connect with you directly for information on how to get the draw swag to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I think we're coming to an end, right, of the show?
Yeah, we're coming to an end, but don't worry, we'll be back again.
Yeah.
We have the next live show on March 17th, and so remember, we're going to do this show first on YouTube, and then about 2:30, we're going to do one on Facebook, and that'll be about half an hour. So be about 1 o'clock.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, right? Like hit that subscribe button, right?
Indeed.
Which is very, very, very important. So great. We're getting better. We had no gremlins this time. Like we've had digital gremlins the past couple times in starting, but you've kind of worked things out and things are getting a little smoother and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I should probably do behind the scenes on what we do because it's quite the setup on how we get this working.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, thank you to everyone who sticks by us to watch the show, even when we do get those gremlins.
Yeah.
We're only getting better and better, and I think we've dealt with most of the issues, but
for sure.
when it comes to technology, issues can always pop up.
White Hatter team, right? White Hatter team. So, for myself, Darren.
And Brandon.
We want to thank you guys for tuning into this live YouTube event, and we look forward to seeing you next time on March 17th, both for the YouTube live event and then later for the parents, later that day on the Facebook live event on the 17th. So again, from the White Hatter team, from Candace, who's working in the background right now, doing all the social media side of things and whispering little thoughts in my ear as we're going along. Yeah. Her voice is always in my head. I don't know why, but anyways.
Me too.
So I bet. So on behalf of the White Hatter team, have a great rest of the day, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye now.
Bye.